This is TeamSport Cambuslang in Glasgow. And since this is my first time visiting, naturally I've booked onto a race with some locals. But how badly can this go?
What?
I don't have any brake.
Uh-oh.
Joining me today is Declan, a local legend who's also a TeamSport mechanic. He has done countless laps of this circuit, and today he's going to be showing me the ropes. Today's event format is very straightforward. It's a 15-minute practice and qualifying, and then a 15-minute grid start race. So with 15 minutes on the clock, I'm going to have to learn this track fast. I did have one thing going against me in this qualifying session though, which we'll get to in a minute. But first, let me show you around with a flying lap. Over the start finish, we've got this wiggly straight, if you can have a wiggly straight, little kink right into a hard left turn. That is very tricky, that corner. Then you've got a left hairpin, followed by a little kink to the right, and then you're into the sequence of hairpins. There's 3 of these chained together. One right, one to the left, and then the third one to the right opens up as you head up the ramp onto the second floor. The surface up here is very slippery and you've got to watch out for those metal bars. You will have no traction on them. A little flick right followed by this double apex left-hander then leads you into this right-hand corner down the ramp to close out the upstairs section. And now we have the trickiest corner on the track. Flick right, hard on the brakes, and then a left turn takes you across the start finish for one lap of TeamSport Cambuslang. I'm going to throw this out there right now. This is my favourite indoor karting track I've raced on. There's some really good technical corners on this circuit which are really tough to master. This final sequence of corners, the down ramp into the final hairpin left, had me stumped for ages, but it was so fun to try and figure out the fastest way through there. And in almost no time at all, that was qualifying over. I followed Declan into the pits and let him know what I thought of the track.
Whoa! That's sick.
But remember before when I said something was bugging me? Well,
the spring doesn't bring it back.
I'd essentially had to drive all of my qualifying laps pretty much at full throttle because the spring that returns the throttle back to the neutral position wasn't really doing anything. So I was a little bit concerned to see where I'd end up on the grid. P3 out of 9, I'll take that. The guy on pole was lightning fast, and both me and Declan were going to have to work hard if we wanted to move forwards in this race. As we pulled on the grid, I started to feel the nerves jangling, and then I had a little giggle at the cart behind me parking right on my bumper. Hello there. Couldn't quite catch what Declan said there, but I haven't got any time to think about it. The lights are on. And we are off. Poor Declan has had an absolute shocker of a start. His cart has bogged down and we're straight through and up into P2. As we head down towards the first hairpin, I'm just not close enough to try and shape up a move there. Little nudge on the exit of the corner, just sort of getting in his head a little bit, trying to put the pressure on him. I follow him through these 3 tight hairpins, but there really isn't an opening there, so we just settle in behind and then we head upstairs for the first time. I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but we've actually got in different karts for the race. So my one has a much better throttle, and as such I'm able to just feel the power a little bit more and control my sliding upstairs, which was really hampering me in quali. Heading into the final corner to round out lap 1, he gets a bit loose and I close right up, give him a little tap on the back, and then lose all my momentum. You could see me glance around there just to make sure no one was going to send it on me. But fortunately I've managed to hold on to P2. I did lose a little bit of ground to P1, but we've made it right back up through that first hairpin. The fact that I've been able to close up that quickly has given me a decent hit of confidence. And the fact that he's constantly glancing back over his shoulder means that I'm in his head. He knows I'm coming and he knows I'm going to pounce on him if he makes any mistake. I just need to stay focused and keep the pressure on. Now, last lap, I know that he struggled with the final corner, so I'm going to try and set myself up to get a run on him here. We go through the final right kink and he slides a little bit, but I slide wide as well. I managed to carry a bit more speed than him though, and I'm all over his back as we head down this back straight, but there's no space for me to try and get past him there. He goes defensive into this first hairpin, but then jabs the brakes a little bit on the apex, and I just nudge the back of him. Now he's defending into this chain of hairpins, but there's no space here for me to try and get alongside or past him, so I just have to settle in behind, try and get the run on the exit, but he's positioned his kart beautifully and I can't do anything up the ramp. He's had a cracking run up that ramp and he's actually managed to pull away from me a little bit as we head into the upstairs section. But now we're heading towards that final corner again. Is he going to make a mistake again here? Can I keep it tidy as we head through? A brake nice and early. Tip the kart in and I get a better exit than him. He puts his kart in the middle of the track and I'm switching left to right, but there isn't a gap. He goes fully defensive into this hairpin, so I take the outside line. I'm going to try and get a cut back, but he parks his kart beautifully on the apex and checks me up massively there. And now Declan's on my tail. Now the hunter is the hunted. Unfortunately, you can't see it on this camera angle, but Declan almost goes down my inside into that hairpin. I just managed to close him off. Whoa, this is getting tense. I need to get my rhythm back again, get my head down and try and close back up to first place. It's such a shame that Declan had a bit of a slower kart because it would have been great fun to battle him here. He kind of falls away after this though. That was the closest he got to me during this race. In the moment though, I was quite happy because it meant I could put all my focus on first place, try and chase him back down again. We've gained on him massively through that final sequence of corners, and as we go into this left hairpin again, I'm just focusing on getting all my exits nice and clean and keeping the momentum through the corners so that I can get right back on his bumper and start piling that pressure on again. As we head into the upstairs section once again, he clips the inside on the right hand side and it just unsettles him slightly and I'm able to close right back up to him. He's checking over his shoulder again, he knows I'm coming, and now we're going into the final corner. Can I get a better run through here and make this move? Oh no, he's taken that beautifully. I managed to carry a little bit more speed through the corner and I am on his bumper, but there's nothing I can do through this left-hander. Am I going to go down the inside into this hairpin? Nope, he checks over his shoulder and then he doesn't defend, which is great because it means that he can carry more speed through that corner. I think about going down his inside into the hairpins, he closes it off. I'm now slightly offset with him, give him a nudge through that one, and then I drive into his blind spot and just throw it down the inside into the hairpin, which is not where I expected to make that move at all. But we do make the move and we make it stick. We're up into first place. Whoa, that felt good, but it isn't over yet. We've got to make it through these next corners as cleanly and as quickly as possible. Driving into the wall on that final corner probably doesn't help, but I've managed to carry the speed through, and just checking over my shoulder there, I've got a little bit of a gap to him. This very same lap in the upstairs section, I catch a glimpse of Declan, which shows me the gap I've got behind. There's Declan on the left, and I think we're managing to stretch the gap out a little to P2. So now it's just a case of getting my head down and trying to go as quick as possible. There's a new personal best lap from me at 39.8. That's almost a second quicker than I went in qualifying. As we hit the halfway point of the race in the upstairs section, I can see the size of the gap I'm pulling out to P2 now. We are driving away from him, but we are now starting to catch the back markers, and I'm going to have to make my way through these as cleanly and as quickly as possible if I want to keep hold of that lead. Catching up to the first of the back markers, we make a move that was exactly the same as the move we made for the lead of the race. That one was maybe a little less intense. The next back marker, we catch at a slightly awkward position, and I thought I was going to lose a lot of time to him here, but then he pulls over to the side before that back straight and just lets me straight past. Give him a little thumbs up in appreciation, job done. If you look over to the left in this upstairs section, you can see P2 just behind that back marker. He still hasn't made it through yet. We're really extending this lead, but I can't afford to relax. I just need to keep my head down and keep pumping in these laps. There's another personal best for me at 39.7. And right after I set it, I had a little reminder of why I couldn't take this lead for granted. I just tapped the brakes a little too hard there and I very nearly spun. That would have been disastrous and ever so slightly embarrassing as well. Right, anyway, ignore that. Head down, let's get after these back markers. I catch this next guy as we head onto the back straight, and I'm going to try and figure out a clean way to overtake him without losing myself too much time. We go through the left-hander, he goes a little bit deep. I thought for a second about sending it down the inside into that hairpin, but then thought better of it. Am I going to go down the inside into this hairpin? Nope, I think better of that as well and just sit behind him. But we take the tight line through these hairpins, we get a bit of an offset on him, and then we manage to just cut back on him, do the switch back, and head up the ramp. That's 3 overtakes up that ramp. That's quite a popular place for me. Every time I got onto the top floor, I'd just glance left here and just check where P2 was, but we're managing to drag that gap out even further lap after lap. We catch the next back marker in the same place as I set my fastest lap of the race at 39.6. Now I've got to try and work out how to get past this guy. He's braking and going a lot slower than me through these corners. I thought for a second about sending it down his inside into that hairpin, thought better of it, and then decided, do you know what, screw it, let's do it anyway, and sent it down his inside into the first of the 3 hairpins. Closing out that lap, that's P2 on the left just going past, so we've got a decent little buffer now. And with no more back markers ahead, I could just get my head down and set my fastest lap of the race. So come along for the ride as I tip this kart into the fast left-hander, just brush the wall there, hard on the brakes into this left-hand hairpin, but try to keep the momentum on the exit. Now cut across to the right-hand side of the track, pretty much straight line that little kink, and then just flick the kart through these left-right hairpins and try and maximise our exit here up the ramp. Now for me, I found the fastest way through this upstairs section was to just modulate the throttle as we head over those metal strips. Keep the kart nice and tidy through that double apex left-hander, little modulation of the throttle as we head over that metal strip, and then down the ramp. Flat out and then hard on the brakes as we tip it into the left-hander, back on the accelerator at the apex. And that is a 39.4, which is my fastest lap round this track, the fastest lap of the race, and 1.2 seconds quicker than I managed in quali. I will take that. I knew we were close to the end of the race, and as we headed down through the final corner on the following lap, there's the checkered flag.
Yes, get in! Get in! TeamSport win number 1, baby! Woo! Good racing that, man. That was quality, that, man. Great defending.
Yeah. That car had nothing.
Yeah. I saw you put your foot down, and then I was like, oh, okay.
That car had absolutely nothing. Give me.
That was brutal.
What a race and what a track. Massive thank you has to go out to Declan for being so welcoming and for showing me round. Hopefully we can get out on track again soon. Cheers to everyone in this race for making it a good one. Thank you very much to you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and if you want to see more videos like this. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.